Here we are, another episode of The Running Journey, guys. I'm Rob Tatro. It's my brother, Charlie. Charlie.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Running Journey approaches some intense weeks right now. We can start off with our buddy Todd. We should give updates. We should let the viewers know who listened to the last episode to know how Todd did. Man, I feel like you got to him or we got to him. I don't know. Anyways, Todd killed it. Todd crushed it. Todd had the best possible race ever, probably.
It's pretty good. I mean, yeah, so he qualified for Boston. 3:08:30 is the punchline.
That's the punchline. 3:08:30.
18-second negative.
Personal best. He ran with his son.
He ran with his son, ran his first marathon, so it must have been I'm really happy for him. Must have been a really great day for him. I think he had always said he had a hard time finishing marathons, so he finished strong and was really happy with that. I think now that he's finished one strong, he can probably do a little bit better on his next one. But that's phenomenal what he did this weekend.
Every 5 kilometer stretch was like about the same speed or maybe a tiny bit faster than the other one, like 1 or 2 seconds on 5 kilometers. So he ended up doing just a slight negative, which is like unbelievable that he did it. Now, he did get a huge, I think the wind was helping, right? A huge wind. And it was like, I don't know if you saw the map of the course.
I think Todd mentioned that the last section was with the wind.
Well, it's point to point, right? So It was like Minneapolis to St. Paul, and it was an east wind. So that was definitely.
There were sections against.
There was a couple kilometers maybe. It was the perfect wind. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Not that matters a ton, but I'm guessing he had a hard time. There was one little stretch around kilometers 30, I think, where he had to go up and then U-turn and come back, and he was against the wind there. That would have been tough for sure. Good for you, Todd. Congrats. If you're listening to this, we're very, very proud of you. You did well. I remember when I first started, so we don't know Todd that well. I mean, I don't know Todd that well. I don't think you know him that well either, right, Charlie?
No, I mean, I guess we're kind of from the same area, and we ran a couple races together, and he started listening to the podcast. So that's kind of how I got to know him.
Didn't you? Am I crazy? Or you kind of knew him back in the day, like through golf or something? No.
I like I vaguely remember. I remember that he was good at golf.
Okay.
Like because we were the same age, so we probably played against each other at some point. Yeah.
Okay. So but what I was gonna say is I remember, and this is not a chirp, Todd, but I remember when I would read his comments like of his first marathons, and I remember just thinking, that guy just needs more, like he just needs more miles. He just needs to get more base. He just needs, because he will be able to finish those marathons, because he was always saying he couldn't finish the marathons, right? That's what he would always say.
Yeah.
Couldn't finish them, and he put in some heavy mileage for this race, and he did it. So good for you, man. Nobody can take that away from you. You qualified for Boston. 3:08. Sub 3's for sure on the radar for that guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because this was kind of really his first fast race. So, well, I mean, 3:30 is fast, but
so 25-minute PR.
Like that's like, but I mean that's what. So
I've never done a 25-minute PR.
I did 50 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, no. In 1999, in 2000, I did a marathon. Forget it. Yeah. But after that, I did 34 minutes and then another 27 minutes back to back, 3 months apart when I trimmed an hour in 6 months. That was a fun time. My God, that was a fun time. I still think that was the most fun. That was the most fun time ever. It was so fun training for those races with you in Las Vegas and then LA back to back. I have no idea what you did this weekend. How did it go for you?
Oh, I had a hard time. I had a rough weekend. So I was supposed to do 5.5 hours biking on Saturday, and I did 2.5 hours, and I guess I don't really know how to bike in the wind. So it was like 35 km/h winds, gusting to like 60. And I was kind of doing okay at the beginning downwind, but I still felt nervous. Like I didn't feel very comfortable on my bike, especially in aero. So then on the way back against the wind, every once in a while I could just feel the wind just like take my front wheel. Like, so I was in my full aero setup, like my front wheel, aero wheel, like not a disc wheel, but an aero wheel in the
Sorry,
back.
pause quick. I don't want to interrupt your story. Explain what full aero means setup versus.
Like, in other words, I just had my disc wheel and I had my aero wheel at the front.
Oh, I thought you weren't supposed to put your disc wheels on when it was windy.
No, you have to, it's faster, right? So especially actually it's especially faster when there's wind because
Okay.
you can actually ride the wind when you're downwind with it.
Okay.
But it's harder to handle. It's way harder to handle. So that's why I wanted to practice. Well, that's what I hear. I don't know. I'm not an expert on cycling outside, obviously, but so into the wind was grabbing my wheel, and basically every once in a while, like I could feel if there was an opening in the trees or if there was an opening, like all of a sudden you could feel the wind and it would just like hit my wheel and like turn it, and I'd have to like recover. And so I was like, okay, this is too stressful. So I did 2.5 hours of that, and then my plan was to do another 3 hours on the trainer. And I decided to do a race because they're just less boring. So I did one race, and I started my race, and for some reason, the tension on my trainer was way, way, way too high. So I was like at a cadence of 40, I was doing like 250 watts. So I did my whole race with like a 50K, like I averaged like almost 300 watts for the race, and I did, but at 50 cadence.
Oh, wow. Were you supposed to do low cadence workout?
No, it was just because my trainer wasn't working properly. So I made a move with like 2 kilometers
Okay,
left.
but wait. So you just kind of jumped on and said, oh, there's a race in a minute. I'll start. And then
Yeah,
you started going, and then you didn't have to, you're like, I'm committed to this race.
yeah.
I'm not going to finish this
I
training.
can't bail out of this
I
race.
can't possibly bail out of
It's
this.
gonna fix it. I thought, oh, it's gonna fix itself. Like it can't be this glitchy the whole time, right?
That's never happened to me. That has never happened to me where it
So
didn't kind of fix itself.
yeah. So anyway, so the whole race, like 40, I would just like pedal at like 20 cadence, and it would be like 150 watts.
I don't even know how slow 20 cadence is. That's one stride every 3 seconds.
Yeah, it was like I would just stand up and like do like push down slowly, and then
It's like you're doing a leg press the whole time.
yeah, basically. And then when I had to go hard, then I could still go hard. So it was kind of a weird workout. It was kind of fun because it was very, very different. And I with like 2 kilometers left, I decided I was like in the C category, and for some reason I was in C. Last time I was there, I was in B, and it felt like I was like the strongest guy there. So like with like 2 kilometers left, I just went really hard, and I knew each loop had 2 hills, so I decided like second last loop I just went hard, and I actually ended up winning the race. But with 100 meters, like 100 meters left, I hear this screeching noise, and my trainer I guess the motor blew or something. Anyways, it's not, my trainer's broken now, but at least I won the race.
Come on. Come
So I have
on.
to get a new trainer or something.
Wow. So sorry. What was your top power output then at the end?
Well, I averaged 270 watts, and normalized it was like 310.
Wow.
But I was, yeah, no, not that much, but like because I made my move with like 5 minutes left, or maybe 10 minutes left in the race. Like I just went hard for 10 minutes and no one could stay with me.
Because you were in a hacker group, as you would call it.
No, it's just I took my spot at the hill. When I did 2 hills in a row, and yeah, I was stronger than the other riders. Yeah,
In your group. You're not
in
saying
your
you're the
group, in my
strongest
group.
rider in
Yeah,
Zurich.
yeah,
You just had an easier group that day.
yeah.
Enough that you could win.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Out of what, 50 racers or something? 30?
I think there was 73 actually.
So that's a pretty big win. Are you excited? That's pretty good.
I was a little excited, but then I'm like, oh, I can't do the rest of my workout. So I was like, what do I do here? What do I do? I just did my run and I had a 1 hour run scheduled. So instead of doing a 1 hour run, I said I'll do an hour and a half.
So you
So
ended up doing
half
so
an
what
hour of running for 2 hours of biking.
okay, so but wait, you went outside, you did what, 2.5 hours outside?
2.5 hours. That's 2:45 outside.
2:45 outside, an hour downstairs,
No, my race was only 45 minutes.
45 minutes downstairs, an hour. Okay. So you were still a little bit short, so you added a half hour running.
Yeah, I was 2 hours short of my
Yeah, but
bike.
your race, you went hard, hard,
Yeah, I
hard.
went. I went pretty hard on the race. Yeah,
So call that an hour, hour and a half equivalent.
yeah.
Okay. I think that's a good day. I think
Oh,
that's a
it's
good
still a
day.
good day. I like. No, I think it was all right. And then I had my best run since Boston the day after yesterday.
Okay, how did
Uh,
that go?
19 miles with a fast finish, and I did like the last 4 miles at sub 7. So I think I'm getting back my running ability a little bit. So I'm pretty optimistic about that. It felt really good.
Wow. Wow, that's awesome. So you did, man, you had a busy weekend then. Well,
Yeah.
that's what it is, Ironman. I
Oh
forgot,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
it's yeah. Now next weekend it's also like 20 miles or something on the Sunday.
No, next weekend is pretty easy weekend. I still got the 5 hour bike ride, which there will not be as much wind, I'm hoping. And then but it's gonna be cold, so I don't know. I'm gonna have to dress up for it big time. Um and then a 1 hour run back. So that's a 6.5 hour Saturday. And then I only have 10 miles on Sunday. So it's
Okay,
okay.
and then you start your taper.
Yeah, to me the taper starts on that 10 mile. That's like the
Yeah,
taper start
that's
because
the
it's
start of the taper.
just 10 miles. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's a good weekend. I kind of didn't know what you had, and I didn't really follow it. So
Yeah, yeah. No, it
that's
was good.
great.
I saw that you've been struggling with an injury, but you had one decent run, right? This week?
Which one?
Well, the one where you did like 2 miles fast finish.
Yeah, on that was yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so I've been kind of borderline depressed here the last 2 weeks,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I've been dealing with this internally, trying to cope with this level of frustration that I have, which is I know that these aren't real problems. I know that for the record.
Yeah.
I know that there's people that have real problems, and my mom's got a new knee, right? And that's
Yeah.
a real problem. My wife had a NCL meniscus surgery, and she's actually not able to run, and that's a real
Yeah.
problem. And I'm just hashtag first world running problems. But I've been dealing with my own problems internally,
Yeah.
just trying to fricking figure out, trying to get over the level of frustration that it is when you commit to something and you do everything in your power to get there, and then you can't get there. So uh, I realized about I realized last week, Charlie, for the first time, that Chicago's gone. Chicago's is gone. So um, Patrick kind of made me realize it. Well, I realized it on my own. Uh, I went out for a run on, I don't know. So the hip is starting to heal. So I feel very good about that. I'm confident that if I was given another 2 or 3 weeks, I would be 100% in the hip at full speed for extended periods of time. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I did 2 miles. It felt pretty good. It was still kind of pretty sore at the end. I don't know what I'm going to do, but regardless of that, sub 3 is gone. Sub 3 is gone, and I guess you can't lose 5 weeks of training right before your race and not expect to lose fitness. So I kind of didn't. I was holding on to the fact that maybe I could still do it,
Yeah.
but then I just felt it in my run. I looked at my run and I was like 130 something for a easy run, and I was winded. It was hard for me to just do a run at 8-minute miles, and I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I thought maybe I didn't sleep well. Then Patrick said, your level of fitness, like, you don't have the fitness, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I asked him, I said, what do you like? How bad is it? Like, can I run a sub 3? And he goes, well, if the hip holds up and, you start at, he thinks I'm a 320 runner right now.
No, you're not a 320.
He says 315 to 320.
You're a 310 at worst.
Right. Okay. So
I think. I don't know. Yeah, I don't look at your data every day, but
I don't know.
I don't think you can lose that much. You were a 2 for the 10 and 10. When was the 10 and 10? 1 month ago?
5 weeks ago. Yeah.
So that's when you got injured, right?
Yeah.
That train, that's what caused
it. Me and Colin Lafreniere.
Yeah.
Both got injured in the hip. Derailed both our Chicago marathons.
Yeah.
Shout out to Colin Lafreniere. I think of my shitty problems, and I think of that guy who's like walking with a cane right now, not able to run at all. So like I gotta shut up and just, whatever.
Yeah, that sucks. But he can't even walk right now?
He's not coming to Chicago.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, Colin, if I'm divulging info that was personal and private, but yeah, he's having a hard time. And I think of him, and I think of, people who are going through real shit. But again, it's my podcast, so I'm allowed to use this as a therapy session. I'm allowed to.
Yeah. So I think if you're able to run, I think that you could, like, you were definitely in 255 shape for that race.
Yep.
So I think in 5 weeks, do you lose 15 minutes? Maybe. Do you lose 25 minutes? No, I don't think so. So I think, although it feels hard right now because you haven't run hard, you basically haven't run hard. It's like when I did my hard. What's that?
I've not run at race pace. I've tried it 3 or 4 times, I think, in the last 5 weeks, and every time I would get hurt.
Yeah. So you don't want to do that now. You just want to save it for the race, right? And make sure you don't get that feeling of pain. But I feel like on race day, your mind's gonna be, you're gonna be able to run a little bit faster, I think, no matter what. So I don't know. I think that I think you're in 310 shape for sure, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what shape I'm in, but I know that I'm.
But you don't want to risk an injury either, so yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I've been thinking, like, this reminds me so much of Boston. So much of Boston. I was in unreal shape. Remember? Maybe you don't remember this, but I do. Our February runs in Marchand, we would do 8-mile fast finishes, you and me together in the snow. I was crushing those runs. I was arguably, I thought, in better shape than you at that point.
Oh yeah,
you got in great shape. You ran a 303, 302,
303.50.
303. You ran.
It was hot that day.
No, I know it was hot. It's still an unbelievable race. I'm just saying, I was trending to at least that, and then I got kind of injured, and I got sick, and I lost a month and a half roughly. I checked my races. I checked my calendar. I lost pretty much the same thing, and ended up kind of just jogging to a 330 or whatever, 325. Forget what I did in Boston, 327 or whatever. So, but I mean, I didn't go all out that day because I knew. Remember, I ran the first couple miles with you, and then I just said, "See you. I can't follow you. There's no way I can follow." I ran with Big Z's, Dano Chara. So I feel the same. I feel like I'm in for the same experience. That's the shitty part. I feel like go ahead.
I think it's slightly different than Boston.
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm all ears.
Because I was a third party in both of those, so I know you weren't able to run before Boston. Like, it was like 3, 4, 5 weeks. It was a long time, and you weren't able. Even if you tried, you weren't able to run. Now, like, I think you're just injured, and you haven't really tried running fast. So I think, and you definitely will still have a big portion of that fit. You won't have it all. It's going to be hard, but I don't think it's as bad as Boston.
Okay. Yeah, Boston was pretty bad, 327.
Like, yeah. No, I don't think it's as bad.
And to be clear, I get that that's a great marathon time. I'm not, just for the level of fitness that I was like 2 months before that. And this year, I was in way better shape than those fast finishes you and I were doing.
That's the other thing. Like that's the other thing.
Way better shape.
You were way higher than your peak even before Boston. Like your peak was way higher.
Oh my God, I was in such a good shape. So much so that we were debating changing the race pace, right? We were going to change the race pace from 3 to, anyways, I get the reminder every day from my watch and that my fitness is declining, that my 5K pace is declining, that I don't know, do you get,
yeah. So here's the thing where I've had a couple conversations with other people. I think one of the things that is really, really hard as a runner is, especially if you've been fast in the past, is to kind of just forget about that and like start from fresh. And for me, like that's been my solution whenever I've had like injuries, like it's only happened a couple times, or whenever you restart, right? Or after a marathon, I lose fitness after a marathon, or after, it's like I like wipe everything clean and I like start fresh, and it's like,
that's
okay,
what I
this is
want to do, Charlie. That's
I know.
exactly what I want to
I'm
do.
not saying it for you. I'm just saying it for other people. I know other people might be they might be recovering from injuries, and it's hard to let go of the past where, okay, I know I was a 3-hour marathoner, but I'm not that. Like, it's like, okay, you're a new person and you can still improve from that. Like, so take joy in improving from where you're at right now is kind of what I'm saying. I'm not saying that to you. I'm just saying for people that are struggling with coming back from injuries or anything.
I'm extremely excited about my next build.
Yeah.
Extremely excited because I know, and I've already signed up for London, and I'm so excited about it. I'm debating, like, because I'm pretty sure give me 2 months and I can get back to sub 3. I think if I get healthy, give me 2 months. Like I think if I did
like my cousin Grains.
Like maybe like an early December marathon, I'm pretty sure I could do sub 3 right now, and like the build that I've had would kind of carry over. But then like I've been debating just
maybe you need shorter builds.
Agreed. That's what Patrick said. He said maybe the next build will be 11, 12 weeks instead, or 10 to 12
because
weeks.
it's twice now where you kind of peak. Well, I'm not going to say you peak too early, but it's kind of like that.
Agreed. Yeah, I was talking with Marty Laflèche at Run Club. He was my therapist on Saturday when I poured my soul out, and I told him how miserable I felt. And we started talking, and he's, maybe sometimes you just need someone to listen. And that's one of the things that came out from that is maybe I don't need, because I like, man, look how much progress I made in like 12 weeks. That would have been.
You see, and I'm like, I need like 8 weeks to just start building my volume where I can actually start getting confidence that, like, I need longer than you. I think I need like, I'm good with a 16, even 20 week, but maybe it's because I don't know, maybe I kind of pace I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's funny that how fragile humans are, and yet, like last year and this year, I just went out and I ran 550 kilometers with zero really training or preparation or I just kind of went out and I did it. But I'm running slower pace. So like, I wonder about that. Like, that's the most miles I've ever done. I did a marathon a day for 13 days this year. Why didn't I get injured there? Why didn't?
It's the intensity. I feel like for me, like, that's why less miles, more pace is actually works, is that, like, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. It's like you can do 3 easy miles for 1 hard mile with the same amount of likelihood of injury, right? Or whatever. But you get way more benefit from 3 easy miles than 1 hard mile. Like, you need those hard miles too, but
I guess I'm not used to these aggressive builds with 100K max weeks or 110K max weeks. Like, I guess that's a lot. And maybe my body's telling me something. If, that was funny.
I think you gotta, like, I think, I don't know that you didn't do this, but when you build up these big weeks that you're not used to, like for me, you got to make sure that a lot of your easy miles are really easy too.
Yeah, I maybe I didn't do that. I felt like I followed the plan, like exact. There's one day I messed up bad, and I'm thinking this might be the whole reason why I got injured. I did that hike in Bismarck just the day before, 2 days before my where I first got hurt. I first got hurt in Bismarck on my family trip the week before 10 and 10, and
Oh, really? Okay.
I took that week off, largely off,
Yeah.
and then I came back and I did the 10 and 10, and then I got injured again.
Yeah.
But I got injured on my family trip, and I ended up doing a 3.5 hour hike into the bush
Yeah.
on my kind of slow day. And I ended up pushing the pace a little bit, and I ended up like 3.5 hour hike is a little hard, right? Arguably hard.
Yeah.
And then I took one day I did 10 miles in between, and then I did my fast finish the day after. And that was like a really heavy week for me. That was like 120 some kilometers, and or 110, and I got hurt. That's the day I got hurt.
Yeah.
And it was side shoulders in Bismarck and hills. But I
The
didn't need to
side
do that.
shoulders. The side
Didn't need to do
shoulders.
that hike. I didn't need to do that hike. I didn't need to push 30 kilometers in the mountains, up,
Yeah.
down, up. That's tough on the hips and the hill and the ankles and the knees. And I didn't need that. That was an extra miles that I obviously had a great time and I enjoyed that. But if I'm really focused on my marathon and build, I shouldn't have done that. That was the one thing that wasn't on the plan, and I did it. And Patrick's like, "Ooh, it's a lot of mileage. Take it easy." Because
Okay. Well, hopefully this Zwift race that I did doesn't end up being the same. The
well,
48 cadence.
are you injured? Are you feeling injured today?
I'm feeling stiff, like my hips and my knees.
So back to this depressing decision that I have to make about Chicago. Like, I think I'm probably 60%. I don't know. 4 days ago, I thought 0% chance I could run this whole thing at max effort without the hip giving out,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because I had not run 1 mile at race pace. But I saw an athletic therapist. I saw Q again. I'm starting to see progress. I felt good. I've had setbacks, but I'm feeling good for the first time in forever. And I did 2 fast miles on the weekend, and it was largely pain free. So let's say it's 60% chance that I can do it pain free, or that I can just do it, that I can do the race. Then the question is, am I potentially putting myself in danger for my other fun races that are coming up? 7 and 7, 100 miler, triathlon worlds. And then I think, is it worth it? Here's my question: Is a three? Let's say 310 is my absolute best, and I go a haul and I go 309.50, and I have a great day, and I do a 309.50, and I have a phenomenal day, and I enjoyed the day, and I pushed all out, and I left everything on the. Like, is that something that matters to me? Because I'm gonna have to go back to Chicago anyways. I'm gonna have to go back to run a sub 3. So, like a 310 or a 320 or a 330 or 340. Let me ask you this: Do they mean anything to you?
yeah. I don't know. I think I just look at each race as its own thing and try to do my best in that race because I've been out of shape for races where I remember when I was coming off last summer, and I did a 10 miler, and I was happy to do like a 115 because I was actually I was really happy with the effort I put out. Just I wasn't like I was just in that bad shape. Well, it's not terrible, like it's not bad. I'm just saying like relative to where I was. 115 felt like a huge moral victory for me because I just put out the effort. So I feel like it depends. Like I mean, I feel like there is something to be said about like putting the best effort you have on a specific day, but not at the expense of risking injury ever, I would say. So
Right. I think that's kind of what I settled. So here's what I think I've settled on. I think I'm settling on a start that. So one thing that I don't want to give up is, Joel told me today, he's like, what if, Rob, you have it in you?
yeah, it's the other thing. Like I think you may have it. I don't know. You know what?
Because Joel's like, this is my personal trainer, and he ran the Beaudry this weekend. He's like, you cease to, impress me with the stuff you're able to do and the dedication and all that. So like, maybe he said, maybe start like just a little bit below race pace.
I would go even a bit more because you got the speed. If you have it, you'll be able to like start at 310 and then move your way down.
Yeah, Joel was like, what if you have it and you started at 320 just to take it easy, and then you never, like, you can't make up that time and you're just so far out. The reverse is what happened in Boston, right? The reverse is you go way too hard. I'm mature enough, I think, that I'll
Yeah,
know, shit, I don't have it today. And then it's
yeah,
only really the embarrassment of like not failing, but failing. I don't know. Is that the right word?
yeah. So, like, I have a story like this. Like, I don't know if we talked about my 10K. We probably did already.
Let's go. It's a podcast. I want to hear the story.
My 10K that I ran like 2 weeks ago.
Hear it
It was
again.
right
Yeah.
after my. It was right after
Yeah.
my 190K
You
bike
did
ride.
40 minutes.
Yeah. So in my head, I was like, I'm gonna do. I guess we talked about it with Todd a little bit.
Briefly with Todd, we talked
Yeah.
about it.
So in my head, I was gonna do a 40. I was like, my legs are so tired. I ran there and I was like, oh God, my heart rate's so high, like 10 higher than usual. Like I'm gonna suck so bad. And I said, okay, well, I'll just try to do a 43. And I was like, in my head, I was like, but I'm okay with doing a 45. So I started off and like 1.5 kilometer in, I was like, I I was like, you know what? I think I can go faster. So then I sped up a little bit. And then at 5K, I'm like, you know what? I think I can go even harder. So I actually did a negative and I ended up getting it wasn't a great PB, but as a PB, and like I felt great about it. So I think that kind of approach where you just start off a little slower might work for you in this situation.
Yeah. Slower than what, though? Slower than.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, like 310. And like you'll know within the first 3 miles, right?
Yeah. Patrick said the opposite. Patrick said, don't start at 310. That's way too fast. Your hip injury. Start at 320 and just
Oh,
see
okay.
if you
Well,
can.
maybe I don't
But
want to.
he said, see if you can maybe try to break 315 or 310. That should be your goals.
Really, he thinks you can't do 310. Well, I trust Patrick a lot, so I'm surprised because I would have thought you're only like 3 weeks. Yeah, so I don't know. He probably knows more than me. I think you can do 310, but
I just like, I know I can surprise, but I also know that, God, like, I was not moving yesterday. Like, it felt like I wasn't moving. Like, it felt like it was so hard to do those 2 miles at race pace. Although it was very windy. It was very windy and I was running
no, but you
against the
did
wind.
2 full miles at 6. You did
2 miles
under
at race pace.
what?
Two
Sub
miles
race.
at race pace. Yeah.
Sub 3 hour pace.
Race pace, 3 hours. Yeah, I call it race pace.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
been
but
my
it was
race pace.
below 3 hour pace.
250, 259.59. Yeah.
Well, it was a bit faster than that, I
Well,
think.
my first one was slower. My second one was a little
Okay,
faster.
whatever. Yeah, so the second one was faster.
The second one was faster. Yeah. So I think what I'll do, I've settled on this. I'm not gonna throw. Well, I guess it depends how I feel. But the other thing is, I just go and I just run it like a Boston, like a 3:30, and just enjoy the day, not get hurt. Make sure I got to go back anyways, not get hurt, run it slow, recover, run my triathlon. Just don't count this as an A race. It's now a D race. That's one option. Another option is don't the hybrid of that would be kind of start at 315, 320, the Patrick strategy, and then push and do your best and try to break 310. The third option is start just above race pace, so 310. Push, see what you have 2-3 miles in. You'll know if you're able to do a 3
Yeah,
that
back
day or
off.
not.
If you know right away, back off. If
And
you
then just
don't, just
back off. And the other thing is, never at any pace, at any time, do I kind of jeopardize the injury. So
yeah.
unless 3 hours is within reach, then I can get
On
it
the
done.
last 6 miles, then yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
if 3 hours
Then
is within
definitely,
reach, I can
then
get it
then
done.
definitely risk the injury.
But I mean, it's not 3 hours is not happening. But I think that's what I've decided. So originally, my plan with you today was to ask you to help me, guide me to this, but it's all I've been thinking about. It's all I've been thinking about in my head, and it's all I've been talking about to my coach, my personal trainer, my therapist. It's all I talk about is this pacing schedule for this run. So I think. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, so I've been reading. It's not a great book, but I've been reading this book. It's called How to Run a Perfect Race.
Okay. You should write that book.
Yeah. No, the guy that wrote it, like, he makes a lot of good points, but I feel like it's all things that I kind of knew and that I kind of agree with. But one good thing that he did mention is, like, if you ask someone that's really good at pacing anytime during a race, if they can keep that pace till the end of the race, the right answer is I don't know. In other words, like,
I'm on the edge.
I'm on the edge. I'm not, it's not no. Obviously, it's not no.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be yes either, right? Because yes means you're going a little too slow.
Right. Remember okay, so last time you talked about something and it really stuck with me because I listened to our podcast with Todd on my jog, and it kind of got me feeling shittier about myself because I realized that you're like, remember those times, Rob? We've had a few great races, and I've had 3 unbelievable races in my life. I've had 3 of them. I had Tucson, Vegas, LA, back to back
Yeah.
to back marathons, right? Trimmed an hour, 2 hours off the marathon 3 times in
Yeah.
a row. And I thought that was life from now on. I thought that's how races are going to be for me. I'm
That's going to be every time, eh?
every time I'm going to optimal shape. I'm going to have perfect strategy, perfect weather, perfect nutrition, perfect running partner who's running right next to me, my brother who's pacing me exactly to the exact goal that we want, the stretch goal, talk about it every mile and have the absolute best day of all time. Well, you know what? I've not had that since. I've not had it since. And I'm starting to think, holy shit, like New York, I shit the bed. Boston, I shit the bed. And now Chicago, I'm going to shit the bed. So, like, marathons are, yes, they're hard. And I know I can finish this marathon. And I don't think, but they're hard to peak and they're hard to be perfect at. And they're hard to get everything right for race day. It's not easy.
Yeah, no, it's hard, man. That's why, like, what Todd did, amazing. Like, he just ran a perfect race. Anyways.
Yeah. You ran a perfect race. And I'm starting to think, like, is something wrong with me? Am I mentally not strong enough? Am I
No,
doing
no,
something
no.
like
Come on.
I just like this one should have been good. This one should this
Yeah, you
race.
just got a freak injury. You ran on the side of a shoulder that had an angle. Like, I mean, it happens. There'll be more.
Yeah.
You know what? That 100-miler, we're gonna crush.
Oh my God, I can't wait for that 100-miler. And now that I've had to let this dream go, this Chicago thing go, because for the right when
I've
I
been
got
thinking
injured,
about this 100-miler so much, even though I got my Ironman.
when I got injured, you were like, "It's fine. You're gonna take a week off. You'll be fine." That's what you kept telling me. And then like another week, you're like, "It's okay. You're swimming. You're biking. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be
Yeah,
fine."
yeah, no, I
And I
know.
just kept thinking I would be fine. And then over the last week or two, it's like it's slipping out of my grasp.
Yeah, yeah.
And now it's like, okay, well, what next? Because I need something. I need something to get me excited about. And I'm tell you what, it's not triathlon worlds. It's this 100-miler. I'm pretty jacked about. Made a fictitious training plan for SEMO. Did
Oh
you see
yeah.
that? Did you see that training plan that I made for SEMO?
No.
You,
Oh yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah. On Chat GPT, yeah.
yeah, ChatGPT made a training plan for SEMO, and at first,
I
like if
I
you
was like beaking it.
well, okay, if you were to just say, I wonder what a training program looks like for a guy who's run one half Ironman and like 2 marathons in his life and has to do 100 miles in 2 months. What would that look like? And ChatGPT spit it out. And I remember thinking, there's no way this is going to be enough miles. I remember thinking that when I saw it, like before I saw it. And
Yeah,
then
the
ChatGPT
60-mile weekends.
spitting out the training program. I'm like, geez, I think
A lot
ChatGPT
of
nailed
intervals
it.
though. I don't know about the intervals.
Well, just early on, but they're gone
Yeah,
after week 2.
yeah, yeah.
But he's doing like every Sunday, it starts with 4 loops, right? The 6-mile loops.
Yeah.
Then it goes to 6 loops or 5 and then 6 loops. 6 loops is 9 hours because the loops are hour and a half long, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I can block 9 hours out of my schedule here for
Might be a little tough, but I mean, you're doing 6.5 right now. But maybe we'll
Yeah,
do it
yeah.
like,
I put those on the calendar like 2 months ago. I'm like, hey, these days I'm not available.
yeah, I think we got well, I'm gonna see what I can negotiate points wise um, with my wife for that training. But I really want to like I that's a lot of training, and maybe Simo should do those miles if he wants to do well in a 100 miler because he's at 26 miles as max, right? So it's a big jump, right? 26 to 100.
Yeah, yeah. So wait. I've been thinking, out of those 100 miles, how many do you think you're going to run and how many you're going to walk?
Dude, it's all I've been thinking about. And I kept thinking this would be like multiple podcast episodes, but I think I'm gonna do something like a stretch of 4 or 5 where I'm walking, 4 or 5 loops where I'm walking. So
Yeah, yeah.
5, 6
That's too
hours.
fast for me. I can't walk a loop. It's a little too fast for me. I'm not that fast a walker, or it would feel too hard, I think.
Okay, but even if you walked some of the miles.
So one idea I had was to run 1 minute, walk 3 minutes.
So I mean, I guess it depends what you're trying to accomplish with the running and the walking. If the main goal,
There's two things.
yeah,
One is to like keep your pace as even as
I
possible.
was just gonna say them, but okay, you go ahead. You go ahead.
And to me, the second thing would be keep your heart rate, but by keeping your pace equal, but then also take a bit of the burden off different muscles, right? So running will take some muscle,
Changer le mal de place.
and walking will change where it hurts. Yeah, exactly.
So they had the Beaudry race over the weekend.
Yeah.
So that's Joel's race, my personal trainer there. They had the 48-hour. Jayla did like, what did she do? 88 miles or something?
88 miles, yeah, in 24.
Yeah. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Yeah, she's in great shape. She did it for a charity, I think, for her brother. So shout out to you, Jayla. We got to get her on the episode. That's I agree with you. And then he was telling me that the guy who wanted to do 200K, I guess just hit the wall at the end. He had like 6 hours left, and he had like I don't know how many loops, and his goal was 200. His goal was 200. His goal was 200, and he just couldn't go.
Oh wow.
So he had time left, and he had like the pace. His pacing schedule was on, and then he just couldn't do it. So
yeah, I'm a little worried about that.
For the 100,
it's going to be harder than I think for sure because I don't. Yeah.
Well, don't kid yourself. And what planet is this going to be easy? Where are you planning that this is going to be easy?
No, I know it's going to be hard, but I don't know how, because I've never experienced it. So it's like, I don't know what the challenges are going to be,
Yeah. I don't want to say I've experienced some of it, but I've done a few ultras, and like I remember how I felt, and like I'm comparing it more to my 100K race that I did this summer.
Yeah.
And I just took your advice and I just kept the heart rate as low as I could. Now I ran that whole thing minus the aid stations. I ran the whole thing.
We can go way, way slower. Right.
Yeah. At the end, though, I was doing like 11.5-minute miles.
Yeah, but all we need is 15-minute miles.
I know. I'm just saying, like, that was like, as much as we think that that's slow, like I could jog that, and I was okay jogging that.
Yeah.
So you could do like a loop of that. Well, I think early on, I don't think we should be like running slower than 10.5-minute miles.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's why you should walk. You might as well walk lots, actually. Walk 3/4 of it.
Yeah. Well, if you don't need the sleep, or if you don't need the time to eat, would there be an argument against walking? Like, what would be the argument? Why would
I think you want to be as consistent a pace as you can do it, right? I don't think I can walk at 15 miles at 15 minutes a mile. I think I can. It's not comfortably. I think I can walk comfortably at like 16 minutes per mile.
Yeah.
Like I could walk at 15 minutes, but it's going to be it's not going to be comfortable, right?
Yeah, I agree with you.
So I think I can walk comfortably at like 16 minutes a mile. So just make up that difference with a bit of running,
Yeah, I agree. And I think unless you need time to eat, or unless you need time to sleep, whatever your comfort is for that loop should probably stay the same. Lap in, lap out, right?
And just take an hour 25 for each loop.
Yeah,
like I think
that's exactly.
Don't worry about like having you don't need that much time to eat between loops. Like, I don't know, right?
Yeah, and
Keep the heart rate as steady as you can. Like what I
steady as you
noticed is that 16-minute mile walk. I did a walk the other day because I had no workout on the schedule, so I did a walk. And at 16 minutes per mile, my heart rate like was at first it stayed at like 60, and then after like 20 minutes after I warmed up a bit, it went up to like 85, 90. But like 90, that's as high. Like
yeah,
that's not
90 is not 120, right?
yeah, and there's a big difference between 90 and 110 or even 120, right? Like so
Yeah, when I did my 100K, it took me 12 hours
yeah.
and I jogged the whole thing. So my heart rate was like above 120 for 12 hours, right?
Yeah. Well, it'll automatically like, it'll automatically drift at the end, but the longer you can keep it, I feel like the less undulation you can have in your heart rate, the better,
Do you think like a standard deviation metric would matter for this? Like do you think you'd be better off, like, are you saying like even too many drops would be bad? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying too many like you're gonna have to do basically the same amount of work either way, right?
Yeah,
So it's more about the peaks
right.
that you want to avoid, I would say.
Or-
But because every time you got a peak, it's like your body then has to recover from that. But if you just keep it below, like it's easier for your body to just kind of stay at that, at that homeostasis as they call it. I don't know.
Are you worried about kind of the dropping to a walk where your heart rate drops to 90
No, I'm not worried
and then
about
the
it going too low. I'm not
no
worried
no
about
but
it going too low, but I think the best way to it's the max heart rate that matters, I think.
right, I was gonna say is obviously I know you're not worried about it dropping, but are you worried about it dropping and then you having to start jogging again and then
Yeah, that's
increasing?
what I mean. Like I'd rather have it 100 the whole time as opposed to 80 and in 10 minutes it hits 125.
Okay.
I think you'd be better off to stay at 100 the whole time.
Wow, okay, that's interesting. Okay. Because
I
it
don't
would
know.
be it would
I'm
be
not a
less beats.
physiology.
It would be less beats if you did 70 minutes at 80 and 10 at 120 than 80 at
Yeah.
100, right?
Yeah, I don't that might be a fictitious situation though, but what I mean is
You're working on
I'm
stability.
intuitively saying that the more level you keep your heart rate, the better it is in that situation.
Interesting. There was another guy there at the Beaudry. So this race that Joel Tays puts on, there's a 4 hour, 6 hour, 12 hour, 24 hour, 48 hour, I think.
Yeah, 48 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, the guy won 78 miles or something he finished with. But you know who finished second or third? The guy, the former world champion beer mile guy.
Really?
What's his name? Oh, he's a
I have to
Manitoban. He finished
have to look
third or
that
something.
up.
Um, we should probably get him. That would have been something I would have been good at. I was so
The
good at
beer
chugging
mile?
beers.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was good at chugging beers. I was good at chugging beers and I was good at doing something immediately after. I was so good. I missed my calling, but that's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. Oh my God, I didn't tell you about this. Okay, but you have to promise you're not gonna steal this idea from me. Otherwise, I'm not telling you.
Okay. I
Okay,
won't steal it.
promise you're gonna give me the first attempt at
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a Guinness record that I think I'm 98% sure I could break tomorrow.
Okay. What is it?
Do you want to guess?
No.
It's fitness. It's not how many hard-boiled eggs I can eat.
Running
Okay, it's a fitness thing. It's a predetermined distance race.
100 meters on your hands.
No, I can't win those. No.
Okay.
No, it's a race that you and I do quite a bit. But with one caveat.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a triathlon, Olympic distance triathlon, barefoot.
Barefoot? Yeah, no problem.
Guess what the Guinness record is for the Olympic triathlon barefoot?
2 hours and 30 minutes.
252.
What?
252.
Okay, I'll let you get it and then I'll beat it.
You promise. You promise. So I
don't know.
I
Yeah, I think I could do sub 230 barefoot.
well, you don't the swimming. You're already barefoot.
Yeah, swimming doesn't affect you. The bike would
The
affect me a bit.
biking, I did it in Pinawa. I had no biking shoes in Pinawa.
Yeah, yeah. I would set up my bike with a little something there, but yeah.
There's these flap things. I've been looking at them. Marco's got them
Plus your
already.
transitions. How fast are your transitions going to
Transition is
be?
going to be fast. And then it's at 10K. At
Yeah.
10K. I'm pretty sure I could walk at 10K today and get that record.
Well, I don't think you could walk it, but
Okay, I'd have to jog a little bit of it, but what
okay. So
was
I'll
my
let you get it, and then I'll beat it.
I'm glad I got you to commit to. And any listeners out there, if you're listening, you also can't beat me to this record. It's a signed declaration of trust. So
Well, if you don't get it by Birds Hill Park next year,
I have to do it at an official race, Charlie.
okay. If you don't get it by St. Malo Triathlon next year,
I'm doing the first race, whatever. I'm going to try.
okay.
I actually was debating doing it at the World Championships next weekend, just for fun.
Oh yeah, you should. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Run
Yeah, why
barefoot
not?
at the
It's
World
going to be
Championships.
like you're renting your bike, right? Go see a
I'm renting my
mechanic.
bike. Yeah.
Tell him you're going to do it barefoot and ask him what he can set up for pedals.
And then like 10K barefoot, that won't be an issue, right?
No, it should be all right.
Like I've been running.
I don't know. I think it'll be okay. It might hurt a bit.
I think so too. And people are listening are like, these guys are crazy. They don't know how hard it is to run barefoot. I run barefoot all the time. I go outside. I'm on the street. I play basketball with my kids.
We weren't allowed to wear shoes as kids.
We didn't own shoes as kids. I mean, maybe I owned shoes as a kid, but my dad used to play baseball all the time at the Saint Jean Baptiste and the ball tournaments, and he was always barefoot. We were barefoot. Grew up being barefoot all the time. And I'm often barefoot.
Yeah, you have to do the world's barefoot.
I have to do the world's barefoot?
Now you have that'll make it an A event for you.
It would make it an A event for me because now I just don't even care. Not that I don't want to disrespect the worlds here, but I don't really care.
Yeah. Plus you can draft.
Yeah, on top of that. And it kind of be cool to get a world record at the World Championships.
That would be amazing.
But I talked to our buddy there, the juggler.
Oh, does it count?
When's his race? His race is next weekend or the Sydney Marathon.
Yeah, Toronto. I thought he did it already.
No, he's not doing Toronto. He's doing Sydney, Nova Scotia.
Okay. He changed?
What's that?
Did he change or?
No. He had.
It was always Sydney. For some reason, I thought it was Toronto.
Am I wrong on that?
No,
I know he's in his taper. Anyways, regardless, I messaged him. I said, "Hey, what's the process to get Guinness on side?" He said, "You have to give him pre-notice." And
so you have 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks.
But even if they don't respond in time, I'll GoPro the whole thing and whatever, right?
Can't wait. That's going to be an episode.
10K. I can do a 10K barefoot.
I have no doubt that you can do a 10K barefoot. Hopefully it's on grass.
That's another thing.
Usually
not on grass. But I was trying to think of like the Manitoba tracks that would be the easiest. Like St. Malo, like that. That's a park road.
You could run on the side in St. Malo maybe a bit.
Yeah, I guess. Birds Hill is
half the same. It's fine. St. Malo, you just run on the road. It'll be fine.
Either way, I'm getting it at if I don't get it at the World Championships, I'm getting it at the first Manitoba Triathlon, or maybe I'll go do one somewhere and just say I have it in my back pocket.
Yorkton, Saskatchewan, maybe.
Do they have one? Did you just say Yorkton, Saskatchewan?
One time I checked that I thought maybe Yorkton had one in Saskatchewan. I really wanted to do a triathlon a couple years ago. And
that's a leap.
Looking at out of province.
That's a leap. Okay, so we got that lined up. I got my race. How are you feeling? We will wrap this episode up soon. How are you feeling going into, like, you are pretty much done. You have 1 weekend left. I remember how it is. You're getting to the end of your
yeah.
probably, right?
Yeah, I feel good. I'm a little rattled by my last bike ride into the wind. It was really hard.
Dude, that was absurd wind. That was ridiculous wind.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm rattled by that. But besides that, like I know I have it in me to do a sub 5 bike ride, and I know, and I haven't felt this good running since right before Boston. So I'm feeling really good. Swimming, well, I'll just let the river take me, and then so I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah,
Let's let the river take you. Remind us, it's a downstream swim,
yeah.
flat bike,
Flat
flat
bike,
run,
flat
flat
run.
run.
Yeah.
By the way, the one you could go after next if you wanted to, barefoot Ironman.
What's the barefoot Ironman
There's
record?
only one guy who's ever done it.
What's
16
the
hours
record?
and 16:40 or something like
Could do that in my sleep. Uh,
that. I
well,
plan on
26
getting
miles, 26 miles barefoot doesn't sound so much fun, but
but it's doable. Like
yeah, but
remember,
I think
okay,
I could do a 6 hour. I could do a 6 hour bike leg. I think.
okay, I got to tell the story. We were in where did we go on our trip? It was we were on a motorhome. We were going to Key West. We did a motorhome trip 2 weeks. My parents were staying at campgrounds. They bought tennis rackets,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and we went
yeah.
and played tennis. Remember this?
Yeah, yeah. You had the worst blisters ever.
We had no shoes. We didn't wear shoes, and we played tennis all day. And then I got back, and I had blisters all on the bottom of my feet, and then they just like it was just blood blisters all on my bottom of my feet, and they eventually just popped. And my mom was like, "You have to wear shoes if you're playing tennis on the courts." And my dad
Yeah.
was like, "No, he's fine, not a big deal, he's fine." Um, so I mean, worst
You just
case,
kept playing like blisters. Didn't notice you
I
had
didn't.
blisters.
Yeah, I don't remember how bad it was,
You were. I
but I
think you were
remember
like
the pain
7.
after.
You were like 7 years old or something.
That was in yeah, it was grade 3, I think. Whatever you are in grade 3, you were in grade 5, right?
No,
For that trip when
no, no. I was
motorhome trip.
10 years old. Yeah. So yeah, it
Yeah, it
was
was grade 5. I was in
1989.
grade 3.
It was 1989, 88, 89. Yeah,
Yeah, so I would have
grade
been
3. Yeah.
8 or whatever. But I digress. Okay, so it is fun to talk about the 100 miler and other stuff because you get just in this swirl, a toilet bowl of depression when you think about your race that you're not going to do and you're not going to do well. But I'm not a quitter, so I'm going to see what I can do. I'm not going to get injured because I do have a Guinness attempt next weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to injure myself at the Chicago Marathon. By the way, my Chicago Marathon is this weekend. So I fully expect, honestly, I kind of have no idea what to expect. I know my fitness isn't great. If the hip holds up, that's great. I'm going to try and do what I can. If
Are we doing a pre Chicago episode with anyone, or I guess Eric's not going,
Alain's out,
Colin's not going anymore? Or?
Ryan Bram is going. I'm going to reach out to him. I was going to try to record one from the road with him,
Oh, okay.
see if I can get you on there. Otherwise, I'll do one. My idea was to maybe try to do one live from Chicago. I'm here at go to like one of the morning races, the morning get-togethers,
Yeah.
because it'll be like Boston, I'm sure, right?
Oh, I'm sure it's not nothing. I think nothing's like Boston, but yeah, this will be very similar. I think.
Because New York was not like Boston when it came to
Well, like
that.
Boston, like everyone was running the marathon.
It
It
was
felt
just
like everyone you were
crazy.
talking to. Remember,
Remember
there's
that group?
groups of like 200.
Like yeah, like a group for an entire city block, the whole width of the road, just all of just people. That's a running group.
Yeah.
That was cool. So I'm planning on hoping on doing that. Maybe meet a few people, and then I mean I'm less enthused by talking about it now that I know I'm not gonna. I shouldn't say I know, but now that I'm pretty confident I'm not gonna do well. So, anyways, I gotta quit my whining and just focus on what I can
Well,
control. And
I'd love to have a call with you and Ryan the day before, if that's a thing we could set up. But
okay,
whatever.
I'll reach out to Ryan. We'll get him on because Ryan Bram's been training and he's going down with his family as well. So yeah, we'll be out there. So if we can get you on, we'll figure out a spot. I'll go for a jog with Ryan on the Friday or Saturday. What day? What do you do race day? You do 2 miles the day before?
I end up usually doing about 4 miles, 3 to 4 miles the day before, but whatever doesn't. I think you do what you
Yeah.
like. the day
I
before.
usually take the whole week off, kind of.
Or take 5 weeks off. That's not a bad strategy.
My taper is the absolute best taper anyone has ever had.
Oh man, you're gonna be so fresh.
I'm gonna be so fresh. All right, we'll leave on
How's
that
your
note.
wait? How's your form score on Training Peaks?
I don't know. It's probably through the roof, right? Is that the
Yeah.
one that's the 6-week average minus the whatever?
Yeah.
It sucked because when like a month ago when I took like a week off or whatever, all of a sudden I had peaking. Do you get peaking on your Garmin sometimes? It only happens for me
No.
like it's when you train a ton and then you stop.
Yeah.
It's like you get that like kind of when you're tapering,
Yeah.
peaking, and I was like, oh, I'm peaking. Except my race is in a month. That's great. And then I got unproductive. I've been on unproductive on my watch for a month straight, and now I'm back. Finally, I'm at maintaining.
I really like that I have the cheap Garmin because it doesn't tell me anything like that. So doesn't ever tell me I'm unproductive.
Having it tell me what kind of shitty shape I'm in. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. It's been
Yeah.
like, can you shut up? I don't need to hear this right now. Shut up, Garmin. I know I'm out of shape. I don't need to hear. I don't need you to tell me I'm not in good shape. And then the push notifications. You're in bad shape. Like, okay, this was good, Charlie. This was fun to chat about this. So, regardless what happens in Chicago, we got Olympic attempt, Guinness record attempt in Spain. Am I gonna do that?
Yeah, you have to. Like, you'll never get another chance in Spain to. Plus, it'll be nice in Spain probably to run barefoot.
I wonder if is Team Canada gonna care? Are they gonna? You didn't take it seriously. You didn't wear shoes.
No, they won't. They just don't tell them. Just do it.
Yeah, you're right.
This is how I feel the most competitive.
Okay, that's my plan. Okay. And then we have nothing but 100-miler talk for 6 weeks after that.
Oh yeah. Every week.
Oh no, you got Ironman. So I got Chicago this weekend. I got Triathlon Worlds next weekend. We've got Ironman the week after.
No, but we absolutely need to do an episode on WFPS.
Yes, we do with Uncle Mo.
I don't know who, but yeah, there's a bunch of people that we know that are running it. So
yeah, but I mean, I really like Uncle Mo's story. He's man, he's doing it.
Yeah. Agreed. Definitely get Uncle Mo on the show.
But yeah, like I think our entire run club is doing it. Like Grant and Donnie and Marty and Jacques and Phil and all those guys are doing it. So
yeah,
maybe we go on a Saturday and we interview them.
Tapering gonna start soon. Can't wait. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Charlie. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to 5-star like or whatever. Write us a review and tell your friends about us. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you in the next episode. I'm Rob, my brother Charlie. Good luck with your training.